This week at Lebanon Road, we're talking about our enemy.
Dun dun dun!
I wanted to do this topic because, as we mentioned too, I think actually the first time we did one of these videos, at Lebanon Road this year, we are beginning a new Bible school curriculum, and as we began the month of April, that new curriculum really kicked in. We started in January, but we rotated teachers and all sorts of things this month. And the class that I'm in, I'm not teaching. I actually be a student. I get to be one of the people who makes fun of the teacher and throws spitwads and all that stuff, because that happens in every Bible class I teach. But we are studying Satan, and Tim Mulligan's teaching that class. He'll probably embarrass I just mentioned his name, but he is just doing a phenomenal job in teaching that class and really reminding us of some important things. And as we were studying this past Sunday, we started to look a little bit at the book of Job, and of course we learned a lot about Satan from that book. And one of the things I was reminded of was how early on in the book of Job you see Satan coming before God and all that discussion. But it reminded me, in the English Standard Version, the one that I usually preach from and read from, makes a note of this in the footnotes, but it's something we all need to remember, is that every time you see the name or the term Satan in Job, in the original language it's actually, just to make it English, the Satan. Because the meaning of the word Satan is accuser or adversary. And I really wish, J.D., that when we had the Bible translated, that the people who translate Job would actually say the Satan.
Right.
I really wish it was there.
Kind of changed the way that we looked at it and thought about it.
Yeah, because the point of it is we really only have one enemy. But it is so easy for us to make up a million different enemies. And that's really what he wants. He wants us to think that, maybe a person in my family, maybe someone I go to church with, maybe even myself, that I'm my own enemy, or I'm my own worst enemy, or this person is my enemy. And there might be some truth to that. But as Christians, really, Satan is our only enemy.
It's kind of like you may feel overwhelmed by all of these numerous enemies, but like you say, it's only one. So that if you use an old, war expression, if you cut off the head of the beast, then, that's kind of appropriate, I guess, if you had Revelation.
We're going there in a minute.
Okay. Then that takes care of the rest of the problems.
It does. And 1 Peter 5 and verse 8, your adversary, singular, the devil walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. The Bible makes it clear from beginning to end that Satan uses all sorts of temptations and means and influences, but really, he is the enemy. But as I said, I think our problem is, or what he's good at, probably a better way of wording that, is he makes us look at 1,000 different enemies, and we lose focus on him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the Bible tells us we are not ignorant of his devices. We need to realize that's one of his devices. Is to make us ignorant. Yeah, to keep us ignorant, to keep us looking 1,000 different directions instead of just at him and seeing, here's the problem. He is the problem. You mentioned Revelation. And in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 10, and I want to choose this verse because I'm going to make this thing go full circle here in a minute. How's that for some...
You're a genius.
I'm telling you. In Revelation 12 and verse 10, we're not going to get all the symbols and everything, but that verse reads, I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now the salvation, the power, and the kingdom of our God, and the authority of Christ have come, for the accuser of our brothers has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before God. The accuser of our brothers. You go all the way back to Job, and what was Satan doing? He was going before God. I'm talking about all these people. I'm accusing. You think about when Jesus said to Peter, Satan has requested you, that he might sift you as wheat. And here in Revelation, you have the same description. He is the accuser of the brothers. Now, we don't have time to discuss, and frankly, I'm not sure how that exactly works.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us can really understand how Satan comes before God and accuses J.D. or accuses Adam. I don't understand that. But the Bible is as clear as a bell that that's exactly what he does. But I love that it also says, and I'll actually let you talk here in a second, that it says he's the accuser of the brothers. He doesn't have to accuse people who are sinful all the time. He's already done his work there.
Yeah, that's a great point. Why those who are in the world or lost in the world, there's no need for him to focus his energies on those types of people. But I mean, and you see that in the Bible as well, in those examples that you've mentioned. Job, a very devout man of God. Peter, a very zealous and devout man of God. And then in Revelation, the individuals spoken of, very devout followers of God. Those are the ones that he wants to accuse, that he wants to sift, that he wants to plague, and to draw them away from God.
That's right.
So it's very clever.
Yeah, as we had that discussion in class the other day, someone mentioned that even though Job didn't ever understand what was going on, that in some ways, and this may not be the exact right word, but in some ways it was almost an honor for Job. Job never figured out what was going on, but God had looked at him and said, I know he's going to make it through this. Yeah, and it's a phenomenal. I mean, it's that was a great insight. Because I don't know if honor is the right word, but just the concept it blows you away. That God would tell Satan basically do whatever you want to, but just don't kill him, and he's going to make it through it.
That's powerful. Oh, God never honors me in that way.
It is. It's amazing.
And it is.
Yeah, it is. And you think about the fact, as you mentioned, he chose Peter. I wonder why. You've got a guy who kind of waffles from time to time, but Jesus sees great potential in. And I love that Jesus said, when you have returned. In other words, Jesus knew Satan's going to fall. That Peter was going to fall. Peter was going to deny him. Mm-hmm. But Jesus also knew Peter's heart, that it would be touched, it would be broken, and he would return. We're all going to fall from time to time. Satan is going to get us. We even though we are not ignorant of his devices, even though we do know how he works, he is still going to set something out there that tempts us enough to where we sin. But our heart needs to be one that when we sin, we are broken. And we turn away from the enemy and turn back to God. We need to make sure we understand our enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. You can read old things about wars and war philosophy, and you can know at the heart of winning any war is knowing your enemy. I remember that. I believe I quoted one time an ancient Chinese warlord, Sun Tzu, I believe his name was. He wrote The Art of War. Yeah. He said, if you know your enemy, you can win 1,000 battles, or something like that. I don't remember the direct quote, but there it is. We can know his devices because they're explained to us in Scripture, and we need to know how the devil operates so that we don't get distracted, we don't get some sort of surprise attack, and we can withstand the wiles of the devil with our armor on, as described there in Ephesians 6.
That's right. And maybe in a future one of these videos we'll look at some of the other devices of Satan, but I wanted just to look at him in general, just triggered off of that Bible class discussion, because it really made me rethink that that concept in Job of him being just the one.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for us to get distracted and forget we have one enemy, but to end on a good note, we also have one God who's a whole lot more powerful than that one enemy. And that's the good news of the gospel. Just a couple of announcements before we sign off for this week. I want to remind our Young at Heart folks that tomorrow they'll have their game day, and that means free food for the preacher when they get together to enjoy their fellowship meal before they play their games, enjoy their afternoon of fellowship together. There will also be a youth devotional this coming Sunday night. I believe Hannah Torres is hosting that devotional.
Yeah, first-time hoster, so always excited with people who will host for the first time.
That's right. And also this coming Sunday, Brandon and Fiorella Carr are having their baby shower here at our building, and there's some of our newer members, and hope that our folks will show them some encouragement as they get ready for a baby I believe is due in June, and looking forward to that. We're so happy to have Hannah's a new member and Brandon and Fiorella are new members, and just kind of neat thing, those two things are happening the same day with them. We love having you watch these videos and hope that you are enjoying them. If you can give us some suggestions, we would appreciate it. If you just want to contact us, feel free to do that through our church website, LebanonRoadChurchOfChrist.org. We'd be glad to hear from you about anything that we do here about this study or just about the work here. But until then, this is This Week at Lebanon Road.